Ladies and gentlemen, in this session we had three very interesting talks. The first by Dr. Schiffer, who told us what wearable technologies can do and where we can use, how can we use the wearable technologies. Dr. Koch has told us how to make materials for wearable electronics and how to apply their technologies for wearable electronics. These are very important. These are very useful for our next generations of garments. In fact, wearable electronics will be the one of the most important directions for our garment and trends. After listening to them, I can imagine it seems that everywhere in our body can be installed, can be covered by electronics in future. On one hand, this will be very useful for us to understand ourselves, provide a lot of convenience in our daily work life. Dr. Wang has introduced the methods to evaluate the abaya garments and how to improve the thermal comfort by their new findings, by their design. These are very stimulating talks. So let's put our hands together to thank them for their interesting work. At the same time, we still have some time to ask some questions.
To the subject of this abaya, is it that the fabric used for abaya ought to have a definite weave structure? For example, what I'm thinking, gauze and lino structure, they are very loose and open structure, compared to other structures, plain, fluid, or whatever. But the gauze and lino structure.
To answer your question, that open structure is not allowed. Any structure, you can see through the structure to see that woman's body profile is not allowed according to their culture. So it must be opaque. The fabric must be opaque. You cannot see through. And also the fabric not drape the body properly. So you, in other words, that drape coefficient should be in that sort of range. So like lycra in knitted fabric, like the body shaped dress is not allowed for making abaya. Even the lycra was used for abaya fabric. The lycra is to maintain the fabric's dimensional stability rather than to shape the body.
Thank you.
Strictly speaking, something is between. But what is essential for textile people is to say that I'll be using some electronic parts into clothing, into textile, into yarn. I should select proper wires for passing electricity. And that's probably the main problem, because usually they are using some metallic wires, and in that case, that metallic wires are more flexible, they are able to be squeezed very quickly, they are broken very quickly, and therefore that's probably a major obstacle. My question for Jinlian Hu is, are you using metallic wires to connect LED or another electronic parts or not?
Use antennas. But we thought that would be a problem because it's ways round and that fatigue is likely to be a cause of failure in that case.
You could squeeze it, and in that case you have a different shape, and will be removed, but it will be broken. Therefore, for text application, it's only for showing purposes. When I'm using it in my body, during my movement, I will have some problems with that. Therefore, essential is to select something as a flexible wires, being able to work properly as optical, as some conductive polymeric infects polymers, but problem is gain.
Plate, and they're conducting. Not very good, but enough for a signal and enough for lighting just a few LEDs, but not for a lot of power to go through them. There's also polymeric conductive yarns, but the conductivity is very low, and they can carry only signal.
What is the market potential for the abaya fabric made from the 100% microlinear polyester in terms of thermocouple properties if we consider?
To make abaya that first you cannot see through the fabric to the body. Second, will fully cover the body without shaping the body to show the body contour. The third is in dark shade, in particular in black. So polyester fabric fits the wall quite well. You want abaya fabric to be lightweight as well, because you need to use a lot of fabric to make that garment. So a light fabric would be preferred, but the light fabric sometimes is translucent. You can see that's the body shape. And using polyester fabric, first we can make it quite thin, and also the fabric density is quite high. In the market, I believe that the solid market, they buy the fabric from Asian market or from, say, for example, China, maybe India as well. As long as we can fit their purpose, we will sell. And we buy fabric from the shop, for example, we request selling fabric over there. And the shop owner said, this fabric is not popular because it's too light and it can see through oil.
I want to know, have you brought some sample of this type of fabric, and it is in use and in bulk use? What is the marketability?
We purchased fabric from Saudi markets for the research. Actually, we do not know what sort of fabrics would be suitable for abaya. Then we purchased fabrics from abaya shop. They said that those are popular fabrics. So, for example, that we purchased 3 popular woven fabrics, and one fabric which is satin fabric, which is not popular. We believe it would be a good fabric in terms of thermal comfortability. However, even though we have approved our initial assumption, but the consumers not buy too much of that fabric, satin fabric. They buy the fabric for some special occasional wear rather than using for normal day-to-day wear. So that's for special purpose.
After the session, you can still have refreshment, and tomorrow people can still hear. You can discuss privately. Judging from the questions, that our session is really very stimulating. Let's thank our speakers again. Give them a very big applause.
Now, to conclude, can I call Dr. Professor Teri on stage, please, to honor our esteemed panel? First, the session chair, Dr. Jinlian Hu. A huge round of applause, please. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Shepard. Dr. Colin Cork. And finally, Dr. Lijing Wang. This concludes our evening session and the first day of the Global Textile Congress. I hope to see you all tomorrow for the session at 9:30. Please join us for some refreshments outside. Thank you and have a beautiful, lovely evening.